Hey guys, welcome back to Lads in Distress. So we're going to continue with Prince Mer's route for now. I barged into the magic room an hour in advance. Prince Charming, how has your day been? Princess, I mean. Princess Charming, how rare of you to be so formal. Charming then, I heard about your selection. I winced at the faint tone of disapproval and concern in his voice. Okay, I know you're worried, but I had valid reasons. He obviously needs saving, and I can only do one at a time, and Prince Cell wasn't even there, and Prince Snow was a creep. And now you'll have more opportunities to learn more about him. I don't care enough about his past to accept that you're risking your life. What reasons? Please don't tell me you were seduced by how mysterious he was. Don't take me for a fool. Prince Mer is probably the most practical suitor to marry, politically speaking. Based on my experience with him, he seems sweet enough. You don't know that, though. He's probably just waiting until you're actually married when harming you could actually do him good. Nickel, I understand why you're worried, and I'm even a little flattered that you care so much about my well-being. Can't you trust me, though? It's not like I ignored your warnings from before because of some spontaneous illusion of love at first sight. It's for the nation I'm getting married, after all, and it's for the nation that I've selected Prince Mer. Besides, I didn't even feel anything off about him, and I got close enough to dance with him. I can tell Nickel is trying his best to bring in his frustration. Charming, you don't have a drop of fairy blood in you. That doesn't matter. I'm probably still better at magic than a good third of most pure-blooded of fairies. You're still not a fairy. Even fairies who practice magic have better senses when it comes to this. Did you feel anything off about him? No, I was never able to get very close. I didn't think I need to. Why are you so worried when you have no proof of anything then? Nickel, it's alright. I can protect myself. If he tries to harm me anyway, I'll kill him. I haven't even sealed the engagement yet. There's still a month left for me to do that. Try getting close to him in the next few days. If you feel something off about him, don't hesitate to tell me. But until then, don't worry about it. Silence stretches out for minutes before Nickel finally responds. I think you're a crazy bitch, but fine. It's a little too late for that. Nice try, though. I titter, and Nickel returns a half smile. I understand. Of course you do. Thank you. But will you at least let me switch bodies with you just for a day or two? What? I'll be able to get closer to Mer and may even be able to try a few minor spells on him to test his motives. If he tries anything, I'll stop him. I get your reasoning, but what do you mean by switching bodies? I didn't even know that was a thing. It's real indeed, and it can certainly be very useful. Not that I've used it before. And for lack of better words, what happens is that the souls escape their bodies and enter their partners' bodies. Well, you can't deny that I'm practically a prodigy at magic. Nickel rolls his eyes at my boasting, but he doesn't object. You have to be phenomenal at magic to pull it off, otherwise the process is going to kill everyone involved, or worse, pulls all the souls into a state of bodiless limbo. That sounds great. I don't think you're ready for it yet. The process is very fickle and demanding. Even if you perform the skill perfectly, if you want to switch to last longer than a few days, you have to make sacrifices. Blood sacrifices, otherwise your mind will dissolve. You want me to risk all that, why? But don't misunderstand, it will be my first time, and I'll actually know what I'm doing. Don't ask about the time I went to Vegas. All I'm saying is that you're not ready to initiate it, especially since Prince Mer will take up so much of your time and attention. Point taken. Promise me that you'll teach me once more I'm more free. I'm always up for a challenge. I promise. And before I get us off topic again, why are you here? What do you need me for? I doubt you rushed over here because you wanted me to lecture you. Oh, actually. Can you stay away from this room for the rest of today? Don't worry about it, though. How do I make this sound unsuspicious and credible? I wanted to try a few personal spells and potions by myself. I'm failing on both counts. Nickel crosses his arms, his eyes narrowing at my faint bright smile, but he doesn't refuse. Alright, have fun. I'll trust you with that. Just give me time to finish this potion. I make a small jump of joy as I beam up at him. Thanks, Nickel. You have fun too. I grab Nickel's hand to give him a tight squeeze. Be careful, Charming. I nod, but despite my optimism, I can't help but indulge in nagging thought in the back of my mind. What if he's right? What if the guy's crazy? He must face the consequences. I'm going to kill him. I shrug as I hop to the bookshelves. Perhaps I can find something I can use to teach Prince Mer. When I finally see Nickel leave, I wave him goodbye. I look at the clock for the 1000th time, only to realize there are still 20 minutes left until Prince Mer is scheduled to appear. Fortunately, the man knocks twice on the open door quite a bit early, rescuing me from my boredom. I dash to the door and he walks right in. "You're very early. I'm impressed." Prince Mer grins before bowing slightly. I curtsy in return. "Why don't we drop the formalities? We're soon to be married after all, assuming everything goes well, and I don't kill you. Now, are you ready for your lesson?" He shrugs as if to ask, why else would I be here? I grab his hand and tug him over to the shelves. Alright, so let's begin. I grab a vial of colored water and shake it around, creating small tornadoes from inside the vial before handing it to Prince Mer. "Drink it up. It's a potion that gives you a little bit of magic." Prince Mer stares at the potion dubiously. I gulp, worried he can somehow see through my ruse. Humans aren't born with magic in us, obviously. Potions like these are made by combining materials such as dragon saliva and fairy tears, and then chanting day-long spells as they boil. By drinking them, we accept a little of the species' magic abilities. The ingredients are definitely disgusting to think about, but what the heck. Power comes with a price, I guess you could say. My words are mostly ad-lib nonsense. I know better than to risk babbling everything to a man I've warned so often about. I may be teaching an outsider magic techniques, but it doesn't mean I have to tell only the truth or spill every relevant detail. Besides, the colored water can act as a placebo, and placebos have never done any harm. In reality, magic resides in all humans. It's simply dormant. All it takes to wield it is knowledge of its existence and approximately how it works. So, are you just going to keep staring at my hand, or are you going to take the vial? Don't keep me waiting! Prince Mer reaches out his arms, palms up, and waits for me to drop the vial into his hands. "You're too polite. You could have just wrested the thing from my hands, you know?" Prince Mer gives a hearty laugh before tilting his head and chugging the water down in a single gulp. "How's it feel? Feel the magic?" He tilts his head, perhaps pondering my question before wavering his right hand back and forth with a so-so gesture. "Don't worry. It's usually pretty subtle, so even if you don't feel anything different, that's completely normal. After all, it's not how different you feel that's important, it's how well we can use magic. Now, visual illusion magic is probably the simplest thing you could start with. Magic itself is pretty simple. The only reason most humans are incapable is simply because they don't have access to the potions and because they don't know how simple it is, so most never even try. The foundation of illusion magic is intent. I'm not sure how to explain it properly. Imagine that there's a strip of parchment floating in front of you. Mer nods and I wait in silence for almost a minute, but nothing appears. Try closing your eyes. I know this will sound cheesy, but try to force yourself to believe that there is really a strip of parchment in front of you. A large strip that is as wide as you are tall. Mer nods once more and his veins begin to bulge as he attempts to will a visual illusion into existence. Again, nothing happens. I bite my lip and shift my weight back and forth. This came so easily to me back when I started learning magic. How can I help it when I don't know what's going wrong? Maybe try. Suddenly, an endless sea of red floods my vision. What? I shift the tiniest bit backwards and the red that fills my vision reveals himself to be petals, rose petals. Both Mer and I have been buried in a giant mound of roses. I can't feel or smell them, so they're clearly not real, although they'd easily look the part if a quarter of them weren't so seemingly piercing our bodies. Don't tell me. Oh. I applaud your adaptation skills. I giggle some more at the sight and situation. There's a rose right where my mouth is, and I can see myself practically biting it each time I speak. Thanks for all the roses. It's always great to receive them, and even better to drown in them. Prince Mer tries to turn his head, his face crimson red, as he winces when the flowers behind him don't cushion his movement. Seriously though, this is impressive. I take a step forward as I lunge into a bear hug with the prince. While I'm not quite sure what your intent was, the flowers are awesome. You're awesome. Although I'm getting kind of comfortable for knowing someone for less than 24 hours. The moment the prince is distracted from his efforts, the roses vanish without a trace. I speak a few terse words into the prince's chest. pity, they were so pretty. You did an amazing job, by the way. His hands tremble as he caresses my hair. Look, maybe I'm getting a bit too excited. I'm gonna need you to tone down the physical contact. He shakes his head, but something in his expression plants seeds of worry in me. Feel free to tell me if I cross any lines. I'm rather impulsive, you see. As such, I tend to break rules of propriety all too often. Anyway, now that you've rained roses on us, the papper should be much easier. Why don't we try that? Mer nods before closing his eyes once more to focus. It takes a few seconds, but a usable, albeit shoddy, sheet of vellum does appear before my eyes. Great job, you're doing fantastic. Prince Mer nods, his eyes so clenched shut in concentration. I'd love to be looking to your eyes while talking to you. I reach out and brush away the sweat from Prince Mer's face, which is kind of gross. She wisps relief, the illusion stays vivid. There we go. So how do you feel about using magic? A slight smile spreads across his otherwise focused face. I laugh. Don't worry, magic takes a bit of practice is all. There will be a piece of cake in no time. Prince Mer raises his brows and points at me with his thumb. Are you asking how it is for me? He nods. Well, I'm sorry to say that I've had no issues at all with illusion magic, but children do always learn more easily. I shrug. I won't cover up my talent for his sake, but that doesn't mean I can't sugarcoat things. I have struggled with some harder magic stuff though, although not often. Whenever that happens, I just practice and practice until it's second nature. Just like I'd love for you to practice and practice until the spell doesn't tax you at all. He nods once more and I grin at him in response. Note that there is a reason I've warned you to actualize the parchment rather than words first. I mean, it's obviously easier so you won't be jumping from 0 to 100 immediately. But more importantly, develop contrast with the text enough to make it more visible and easier to read. After all, if it's written in midair, chances are the text will blend into the background, making it impossible to make out the words. I rub my neck, wondering if I could possibly get more boring. Now that the first part is done, can you try imagining words on the paper? Prince Mer focuses once more, beads of sweat rolling down his forehead, and it practically pains me to watch him struggle to keep his eyes open. If it's easier to create illusions with your eyes closed, you can choose to do so. It's perfectly normal for a beginner to start with this method. Just open your eyes again once the illusion has appeared. I'll tell you when. I'm teaching you magic so you can converse with me, not to torture you. He shakes his head and I nibble on my own lips until they almost bleed as I hold my elbows tight. Oh so slowly, text begins to form across the parchment one letter at a time. I do quite enjoy a challenge. What the heck? Takes me to realize the moment why Mer's illusions are gibberish. Don't forget to account for the fact that I'm on the opposite side of you. You might need to reverse the text horizontally so I can read it. Prince Mer cocks his head in confusion. He walks closer to me before turning around to look at the parchment from my perspective. He covers his face with his hands before returning to his original place. By the way, don't worry about figuring out the reverse order yourself. That's not only tedious, but pointless. You literally just have to want the text to be displayed horizontally and it will be. Trying to explain the workings of magic only reminds me how fickle and bizarre and, well, dangerous it is. People have willed enough tangible items into existence out of thin air, while the most fortunate have willed themselves dead. Simply wishing something won't do the trick, but if a magic wielder adds enough passion and desire, no matter how fleeting, to simple words, the aftermath could be disastrous and I don't even want to think about it. I do quite enjoy a challenge. That is what I said before, only backwards. Well, I must say, you certainly have risen to the challenge quite well. I wouldn't have minded if you failed to display the text correctly, though. I like challenges too, and it would have been interesting to develop the skill of reading text backwards. Mer smiles at me in amusement before frowning in concentration once again, most likely trying to write me a response. Hurriedly, I try to explain to him how to proceed before his new line of text appears on top of the previous one. Wait, don't forget to clear the parchment first. The parchment is similar to a sandbox. You can write on it or wipe away the text as needed. If you want to clear the parchment, just wipe away the text in your mind. Wish the text to disappear. Man, I wish magic was as simple as wishing. You should know I never give compliments easily, even though I've just been flattering you this whole time. You jest, but I thank you regardless. I'm only speaking the truth, I assure you. It's fantastic to finally be able to converse with you. I must apologize myself. I don't even know my own nation's sign language, much less yours. Would it be too much trouble for you to teach me from now on? It would be my pleasure, although I must admit it will take years to learn, especially given that I am no teacher. You can't be worse than me, Prince Mer. But you weren't bad at all. I thought I could never learn such a useful magic technique so quickly. It's all thanks to your guidance. While I love receiving compliments, it's so obvious that he's bluffing to be polite. I laugh. Thank you for the flattery, but it was all you. You're very intelligent. You've actually gotten accustomed to the magic. The potion may have contributed more than a little. The potion? Oh, yes, the potion. I hope it wasn't your last. A potion this powerful must be scarce. Oh, well, we have more colored potions lying around. The rest have already been sent to noble homes. The ones who aren't descended from fairies pay ludicrous fees to become better at magic. I smile at my ad-libbing. I'm great at this. Anyhow, we do need to head to your kingdom soon. Perhaps we can figure out the details to our trip right now. Ah, about that. Prince Mer's face clouds up for the briefest of moments, but his smile returns before I can ascertain anything, making me wonder if I imagined it. I'm afraid I would prefer to stay here. I know it's not normally done, but... Why? Water Kingdom sounds beautiful and enchanting. Besides, traditions are traditions. You know that. Once a host of a ball has selected a potential fiancé, they're required to spend the next month in the guest kingdom. We are nothing compared to the weight of tradition. We haven't even been crowned yet. A mere crowned princess and prince can't possibly cross norms on a whim. I beg of you. He looks crestfallen. I turn my head. I trust you have a good reason, my prince, and I'd love to hear it. We can't just stay here, but at least I'd like to know. Perhaps we can find a solution together. Perhaps we can compromise at least. I understand, Princess Charming. You are being very logical, and I'm glad you're here to stop me from being short-sighted. I'm afraid I'm only speaking emotionally. I have no good reason to say other than my personal feelings. He says the last 3 words with what I can only be self-loathing and shame. I scratch my nose, wondering how I can comfort him. That's completely alright. Can you elaborate? You don't have to if you can, of course. Either way, please know that whatever your feelings are, they're completely justified. I'm here for you no matter what. No, I will tell you. I want to, since we apparently are best friends now. It has to do with my past. Oh. You have already heard of lots of rumors about me, have you not? Yes, I'm pretty sure that you might kill me. Of course you don't. You selected me as your suitor, didn't you? Yes. Not at all. You're far too intelligent and wise. Oh, stop. Please don't. I enjoy your company too much. And really, I am so grateful you selected me in spite of the gossip. I grin up at him. I'm grateful you came. I didn't think I could ever woo anyone. I know we're not married, but if we ever do end up wed, I consider it an undeserved miracle. Blah blah blah. 7 years ago, I don't know how I returned to the castle. The first memory I have is of stopping in front of the gates. The guards screaming a bunch of expletives in shock. The monarchs, my parents, dashing towards me with their arms wide open and tears in their eyes. Pity I didn't remember any of them or know what in the world was going on. I didn't even know who I was. His words appear and disappear quickly and turbulently. I struggle to read everything before it vanishes. The content of his words are also haphazard and jump from one topic to the next without warning. From then, I desperately tried to get accustomed to my surroundings and the novelty of living and remembering in general. My parents worried about me and outlawed the defamation of royalty, but it's not impossible to completely silence the people, especially when some of the most outspoken are nobles and monarchs themselves. Nobody said anything to my face, but behind walls I was the greatest laughingstock to ever exist. I'd see the way people looked at me, like I were vermin, or worse. Heck, I'd even hear accusations from even people in the same room as me when they thought I was too far away to hear them. Sadly, I am not deaf. I am mute, but I am not deaf. They'd casually talk about imprisoning me and torturing me for information, killing me, torturing me for the fun of it, beating me up, torturing me. At first I considered just tattling, but what would that achieve? It wasn't just a few perps, everyone was gossiping about me. Everyone always gathers together to gossip about me and ridicule me to whoever was willing to listen. It is true you may lose your people's support, and if you do, I am sorry. I'll try my best to make it up to you, and I will make it very clear to everyone that I have no intention of stealing the throne from you. I could never. However, I've nothing to lose myself. My parents receive respect and adoration from the people, and to outsiders, it may seem like I do too. In reality, however, I only receive scorn and mockery. When I was leaving Water Kingdom to come here, well, people encouraged me to my face, yes. But when they didn't think my parents and I were nearby, everyone only laughed that I was even trying. How could I woo anyone, much less you? So yes. Oh, am I crying? So yes, I'm afraid that my reason for staying is inherently and solely selfish. I know people gossip about me here, and trust me, the frequency and intensity of the rumors here don't even compare. I don't want you hearing them. As long as you are there, especially as a potential suitor, people will bombard you with the worst of rumors, and I don't want you to be influenced by them. I know it's selfish, I can't help it. I don't want to be subjected to them myself while trying to court you. They're just words, yes, but words do a lot to a person when they're so commonplace and violent. His torrent of words finally halt, and I finally realized I had been stunned into silence all this time. I wipe away tears of empathy that I never felt leaving my eyes. I'm so sorry. Don't be, you've only ever been so kind. I shake my head. I doubt that I'll be affected by gossip. If anything, I'll tell everyone off. Prince Mer shakes his head with a sad smile. I doubt you'll be able to. Rumors influence everybody, at least subconsciously, and given how often and vehemently they're told to everyone, I doubt that. Regardless, when we're married, we definitely won't be residing in your kingdom for quite a while. If your words are true, I don't want you living anywhere near your kingdom. It doesn't sound like the place is good at all for you. Visiting here is inevitable, but actually residing there? I shudder at the thought. Since our nations will be united anyway, we can definitely establish our capital somewhere between our two city-states. The prince nods, but the melancholy expression stays on his face. I sigh, hesitating. I really shouldn't be giving in, but something about the prince's dejected demeanor pulls at my heartstrings, causing me to waver. Finally, I cave in and grab his hands, trying to smile at him confidently. I'm totally going to regret this, but alright, maybe it's better for us to stay here. I was definitely exaggerating when I said the fairies would up and leave. They'll be fine as long as we don't do anything questionable afterward. And we definitely can't let it seem like you're manipulating me. Is that really alright? Well, I'll try my best at least. We need permission from our parents first. We can even try rhetoric in the books on mine. As for yours, why don't you send them a letter? No matter the stances of nobles and servants, your parents must love you to death, and they've been expecting you. My parents. Right, my parents. I'll do so right away. Prince Mer hesitates before he continues. Thank you. I return a warm smile. Don't worry about it. Alright guys, I'm going to stop it here. If you like this, go ahead and leave a like. If you have any suggestions for games, leave them below. And if you'd like to subscribe, go ahead, I really appreciate it. I'm excited to see where Prince Mer goes, because he seems like the most genuine so far, but he could also just be crazy and might try to kill me. So, we'll see. But I'm gonna stop it here. I'll see you guys in the next one.